Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be sitting here with Xaque with his fantastic feature film, Sally Wood. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at the clip.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a photo of me and my paintings? Are you my new assistant?
Yes.
You start right now. In 1988, I was nominated for the Best Actress Oscar in the same category as Meryl Streep, and it's like I've been completely erased. Ask Ned if he'll hire me.
Sally? Sally Fields? Sally Struthers?
No, Kirkland.
You were in MASH, right?
That's Sally Kellerman.
Anna was the first independent film I ever saw. I love Anna because she's an underdog.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so proud of you for what you created.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, you know. You just gave us the joy we all needed to have in this feature film. For those that haven't seen, and firstly, thank you for flying in to be with us.
I come to LA as often as I can. I
Yeah.
lived here 13 years and I know the city so well. I could be the best Uber driver. And I love that my last name Gruber rhymes with Uber. I have Gruber in it.
Was that planned? Was that they copied you? Or
They
what?
did copy
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
They just shortened it a little.
They shortened it a little bit. No, honestly, like, just what a wonderfully written feature film that we all just, oh my goodness, I want everyone to watch it just to get cozy and feel amazing. But for those that haven't seen Sally Wood, how do you describe your film?
Well, you know, it's funny we're talking about LA because it
Yeah.
is like a celebration of Los Angeles.
really is.
And the world of Los Angeles and the allure of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, coming from Maine, which is the diagonal opposite state, way on the other side, 3,000 miles away, I feel, you know, so many Americans make that pilgrimage to LA. And they have a sort of fantasy, a dream, a goal, where they want to come and be part of the entertainment world in whatever capacity. And they come from all the different states and countries. And they're wide-eyed, like I was, like I am in the movie, played by Tyler Steelman. You know, he plays me.
Yeah.
But so much of what you see in Sally Wood is truly did happen to me.
Wow. And
so I wrote the script pretty much as I experienced it. You know, it's autobiographical, and at the heart of it, it's a friendship between Xaque and Sally Kirkland, who was an actress, who is an actress. Don't want to use past tense. She's very much alive. In fact, I was just with her a few minutes ago.
Oh, you were? She doing okay?
I just came here from her.
Oh, we love you, Sally.
From her bedside, where she's healing with a fractured hip. But she's doing great.
Good.
And and I did make her do a cameo appearance via phone last night, which was really fun.
It was actually really fantastic. So for those that were there, Sally was still there. Even what a professional! Like even when she's going through it, she's like, "I'm still here on the microphone doing my Q&A."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, you know, actors who have been in these trenches for so many decades, like she, they live for this. I mean, it fuels you. It's it's the engine that keeps them propelled.
Yeah.
She can be very, like, you know, if she becomes sick or has an ailment, she's suddenly better.
Yeah.
When there's like, and action. Like, I mean,
what is it about that word?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's the lights, it's the word, it's like, we'll go. Yeah.
In fact, she was calling me prior to the movie ending saying, is it time? And I'm like, no, the movie's still playing. I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
What a professional, you know, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, going what you just actually said about, you know, Los Angeles, I think this was such a wonderful ode and testament to Los Angeles, to the history of cinema, and then of course, you know, our central figure is iconic. She's been there and done it and got the T-shirt, as they say in England, you know, and she's amazing. She's an amazing human being, and I'm so amazed as well that you partnered the real Sally, and then also found like probably as closest as to you as you could find in I can't quite, I love them both so much, but I can't believe you pretty much found like you with like as a character.
I feel so fortunate to have found Tyler Steelman,
Tyler's amazing.
who, by the
and a
way,
sweetheart.
was maybe the 100th actor we auditioned for the
Really?
role. There were so many actors that we auditioned prior to him, and for whatever reasons, they just weren't 100% right. And, you know, you're either really right for a role or you're not.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm talking leads.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you have one or two lines, it's one thing, but to be a lead for a 90-minute film, boy, there has to be that magic and that harmony and that chemistry and that zing, zing, zing back
Yeah.
and forth between Sally and Xaque, where they're funny and surprised and feeling real.
Yeah.
You know, I love actors so much. I love working with actors, directing them, being friends with them.
Yeah.
They're their own breed.
Yeah.
And they're a special, special breed. And all you actors who auditioned for the role of Xaque, I want to work with you someday.
Yes.
All you 99 who were so
Yeah.
terrific that almost got the role.
Aw.
And same with all the other actors I auditioned. I just, you know, I watch all those self-tapes and I through all the audition callbacks, and you fall in love with them.
Yeah, you
all
do.
of them. And then you go, shoot, I don't have a role for this one, you know? And
Well, it's ironic that you say that because
I'm friends with so many.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, but
Mm-hmm.
that's because you're an actor's director as well, you know, and so you really care about the actor's journey, and you know how hard it is to get that role. Which is ironic because here you've got Sally, who is this, you know, iconic star, and you know you also show behind the scenes of her experience as well. I mean, taking back a bit, this is obviously autobiographical. I mean, it had to be a movie. Like, you know, your experience had to be a film, but it was also brilliantly written. Like,
Thank
I mean,
you.
no, really, like,
I love
mean,
words. I love writing. I am a
Yes.
writer.
Yeah.
I think about words a lot.
Yeah.
I even made a short film called about the word the. And it went to
love
film
that.
festivals all over the place. Maybe I'll have to send it here at some
Please,
point.
we need, no, seriously. And I love that
I
you-
sit up at night and think about things like the
it's
word.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many. I mean, honestly, I can go back and watch it and pick out quotes that you gave us just for life experience
Thank
in
you.
general. And then, you know, these amazing comedic moments that, you know, were just right there.
What touched my heart was when I walked out of the theater into
Yeah.
the lobby, there were people in the lobby who have followed this movie through all the film festivals,
Yeah.
who repeatedly come to see
Yeah.
Sallywood.
Yes.
Well, that tells me, like, maybe I have something here.
Yes, you do.
Like the next Rocky Horror. I don't know what it is.
I'm ready for your next project already.
Me too.
But what was, you know, you were been for an experience
Uh-huh.
as, you know, with the real Sally Kirkland, and you've gone on that journey with her. What was that moment for you where you're like, I have to turn this experience into a film? And then how do you go and approach Sally about this particular film?
So it happened very naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I was not even thinking about making this into a film.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing storytelling. Do you know The Moth? And
Yeah.
all around LA, there's these little storytelling
Yeah.
salons they do.
Yeah.
I would go and sit and watch those storytellers, and I thought, I want to be one of those people. So I started writing funny stories about my life, and one of them was how I met Sally Kirkland. And then a friend of mine invited me to her birthday party. This was 2014, and she said, Xaque, why don't you get up and tell the story about how you met Sally Kirkland? That's a funny one. And the people here at the party, there were like, I don't know, 20 people at the party. They'll get a kick out of it. So I stood up and I said, okay. So I told the story, and the room was laughing hysterically. And they said, that's the funniest story we ever heard. Please write that into a movie. Make that into a movie. And they said, and one woman, she goes, send me the script. And I said, no, there's no script. I'm just telling a story at a party. She said, well, write a script. And I went, you know, okay, because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really accustomed to writing feature film scripts, which is its own creature.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I had been writing all different things. I'd actually had a book published, and I'd been writing for television. And I thought, wow, a feature film script, that's 90 pages, because it's a minute a page when you do
Yeah,
a screenplay.
yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. This is a challenge. This will be fun. So I went home and I wrote, fade in, you know, exterior Maine house. You know,
love that, yeah.
I'm going to start my journey in Maine because I drove here from New England. And when it was done, It took me 3 months to write the first draft, which was pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, very fast.
And I see Sally on a regular basis, and I said, Sally, I wrote a screenplay about me and you. Can I bring it to you and you read it? And she goes, well, give me the weekend. I said, okay. At the end of the weekend, I'm like, oh God, is she ever gonna talk to me again? Because I wrote it verbatim, warts and all, as it happened. I didn't polish it or pretty it or change it.
Yeah.
And she read it, and she calls me at the end of the weekend, and she said, you've written me as the world's biggest narcissist, and I can't wait to play myself that way. And I said, so you're in? And she goes, yes, let's make this. And I thought, oh, great, I have my leading lady, I have my script, I have me. At that point, I didn't think I'd be directing it. I thought I'd write it and we'd find a director.
Right, okay.
What happened was I ended up moving to Florida to help my parents who were dying.
Yeah.
At the end of 2015. So I kind of put Sallywood on the quiet shelf because I had to deal with my parents and their health. My father had Alzheimer's, it was rapid. My mother had MRSA infections. I don't know if you know what that is, it's terrible.
I do, yeah.
I nursed them both as best I could back to health, you know, and I was my father's caregiver for his final 30 months. And shortly after he passed, or around the time, I decided to shoot some short films in Florida. I had written all these short film scripts while I lived in LA that won the Slam Dance Award, all these big awards. And I'd never filmed any. And I called my best friend, who's a cinematographer here in LA. I said, what if I fly you to Florida and I get some local cast and crew and we shoot some of these short films? And he said, let's do it. So we did it with this cast and crew that I swear some of them didn't even know what they were doing. And we made this delightful little 9-minute short film called The Pistol. And as soon as it was done, I, on a whim, submitted it to the Cannes Film Festival in France, and it got in.
You're like,
well, I thought it was a mistake. I thought the acceptance letter was a mistake.
No.
When I got the acceptance letter, which came a week after I submitted it online, I thought, well, this has to be for someone else.
Yeah.
How could this have gotten into Cannes?
Xaque, you're
so
talented.
I
This is
called
all right.
France.
You did. You're like, hello,
And I
Cannes.
said, is this for me? Is
Yeah.
this really happening? And they said, yes, and we look forward to seeing you. And
You're
I went,
coming, right?
I have to
Yeah.
get a tuxedo. Oh my gosh, I've been invited to Cannes. So it was life-changing.
Yeah.
Because everyone suddenly saw me as a director. I mean, for years
Amazing.
I'd been a writer.
Yeah.
And other things.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, everyone said, well, you direct Sallywood. Why don't you direct it? You just went to Cannes with your short. And I went, okay, you're right.
And no one knows your story better than you anyway.
I lived it.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
I can certainly direct Sally. I
Yeah.
was her assistant for years.
Yeah.
And people say, well, how long were you her assistant? I'm like, I'm still her assistant. I don't think the job ever ended.
It never. No, I don't think so.
When you're an assistant to someone who you're kind of friends with,
Yeah.
it does sort of continue until death do you
Yeah.
part.
I actually even felt the experience on stage yesterday. I was like, you know, just the way you were taking care of her. I thought, oh no, this is a job that's still going. You know?
It is still going on. I know.
But I mean, listen, credit to you. I mean, you know, I'm so glad that you met amongst those friends where you told this story. I mean, firstly, I think you're a great, I mean, generally, even just hearing you today, you're such a great storyteller. Like, I'm in every moment and sequence that you just gave me, in
Thank
every
you.
scenario.
Thank
So,
you.
and not everybody has that, but that's something that is a gift that you have. So I'm so glad that you took on all the roles of that. With Sallywood, you know, I mean, again, it's such an interesting thing when you are kind of reliving your experience, right? But in this context, now, this was the real Sally,
Yes.
playing her
Yes.
narcissistic self, you know, version. Sally, we love you as you are.
No, right.
But, you know, and then you're mirrored with this actor playing with the real Sally. How was that experience, and like, and especially for Tyler as well, like, how was that experience dynamic, and what was that like directing the real Sally? You're now assistant, you're now directing, and then obviously your younger self in Tyler.
Well, first of all, I can barely think of a movie in which the lead actress plays herself.
No.
Warts and all. It's very, very rare. If you can think of some, please tell me. Because
No, I couldn't actually, no.
And so I didn't have anywhere to turn or anyone to talk to, because yes, men have done it, like being John Malkovich.
Yeah.
John Malkovich plays himself. Men have done it, but actresses, I have not found this to be true.
No.
So it's not like I could figure out how did that actress approach this, playing herself in the lead role. Well, Sally's so uninhibited. I mean, she even allowed us to film in her apartment for the apartment set.
Yeah.
And there was no off-limits room. She just was like, of course, the whole crew come in. I don't care.
Yeah.
They can go to bed with me. I mean, it's fine. I want She was very bohemian.
Yeah.
She's not like one of these, stuck-up stars.
No, not
at all. So,
Which is very endearing about her, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that she paid a little price for that because there is a sort of game that has to be played a certain way. And right after her Oscar nomination, she did a very full nude spread in Playboy. I think it was Playboy, one of those magazines. And she was very happy to be nude and wild. And that became part of the Sally Kirkland reputation. I knew Sally so well. First as a fan, growing up, and then as a friend. And I knew that I wanted her, warts and all, I wanted all the full encompassment of, I made up a word just there,
Yeah, I love it.
encompassment
Yeah.
of Sally Kirkland
Yeah.
in this film. Because, she can be sexy, she can be vulnerable, she can be funny, she can be a little bit sharp-edged. I wanted all of that, the grittiness. I wanted it all there, and it is all there. And she is a fearless actor. She was in the Actors Studio. I don't know if you know this, but
She's in Actors Studio as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
but she trained with the greats.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro. She actually gave Sandra Bullock a big start in the business.
Wow.
Kathy Griffin,
Yeah.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
The list is long of actors
Yeah.
who kind of she shepherded into the industry
Yeah.
in ways. And me. and me. And so I really wanted to pay tribute to her, at the same time show all the sides of her, but in a story of friendship. I'm a filmmaker who doesn't really want to have death in my films. I'm trying to write scripts in which people don't die.
Yeah.
Because I think life is so much more challenging and interesting than ending it with a death or a death scene.
Absolutely.
And I'm very interested in friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
More than sexual relationships.
Yeah.
Like people say, well, it's like Harold and Maude. And I'm like, well, thank you. That's a very high compliment.
Yeah.
Except Harold and Maude, I think they have sex.
Yeah.
and
Slightly.
there is some death
Yeah.
happening. And it's very dark. A lot
Yeah.
of suicide themes and things going on. This doesn't go into any of that. And, I grew up with comedy
Yeah.
in equal balance with drama at the cinemas.
Yeah.
So for every drama that was at the multiplex, there was a comedy.
Yeah.
And they were really good comedies that were strong and made for adults.
Yeah.
And they were not dumb.
Yeah.
They were smart. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about Arthur, Tootsie,
Yes.
Big, The
Yes.
Incredible Shrinking Woman, Pretty Woman, the Muppet Movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
There were all these movies that were
Yeah.
really funny and fun, but were sophisticated.
You know what I love, just what you just said there, and alluding into all those amazing movies. They all came from that beautiful time period, sort of like the mid to the late, the early to mid to late '80s. All these great comedies that like
Ferris
iron that
Bueller's
through.
Day Off, The
Yes.
Breakfast Club.
I mean, listen, you joined the club now, just so you know, okay? To these great cult
Good,
comedies.
because they inspired me.
Good,
And
you
I want to
did it.
make more like that.
Adding into what you said is, you're so good with the wordplay of comedy. Like you made this like intellectual comedy piece that was so easy to watch, but played with language and experience and feelings and moments. And I loved all of that. I love the energy. Like I was saying to everybody, like on the stage, I was like, I just wanted to get cozied up and watch your film and just feel all gooey inside, and from this experience. And you really gave us that. And I'm just curious, because you obviously alluded to the kind of type of the movie and what you wanted, but like, what did you want to give to your audience? Because you are the writer, you gave this baby to us. What did you want your audience to take from Sallywood?
Okay, I think the greatest thing you can do as a creator, it doesn't matter if it's a song you wrote or a painting you painted or a movie you made, is to emotionally connect with an audience. And I am a painter, I'm an artist primarily, and I teach art, and that's my primary career. And filmmaking kind of branched out of that in the most interesting, unexpected way. But because I love writing and I love imagery, and I love people. It's filmmaking so collaborative. You know, when you're painting at an easel, it's just you and your canvas.
Yeah.
I have done art where it's hung in a gallery and people have looked at the painting and started crying. Do you know what that great feeling that is? It's the most shocking, thrilling experience when someone comes up to you and says, I saw your painting of the man in the boat. It started making me cry. And I went, wow, my painting made you cry? I mean, so when I see people watching my film and they're laughing, you know, Joni Mitchell has a lyric, laughing and crying is the same release. And I believe it's true. And so when people are laughing, they're letting something out that's inside that has to get out. And then people have cried at Sallywood, especially at the end. And nobody dies though.
You know what? You know what's
but
crazy?
you can cry because it's so emotional.
Yeah,
And
well, you've done that, and you gave that to us. I mean, there was tears in my eyes so many times in your film. Do you know when I really had tears in my eyes? Was when that blimmin' host on that red carpet ignored Sally. That's
God.
That's when because I would
Who
never.
was that?
I would never do that in my real life. Like, I've done so many interviews, and I always love to pay attention to my filmmakers, to people. And like the idea, this audacity of this person. But I was annoyed because I hated seeing her feel rejected. Like, I hated that. But that was a great story of like how that happened.
You brought something so wonderful to this film in that role, because my career, primarily as a writer in Hollywood, was I was writing the questions for Ryan Seacrest on the red carpet.
Oh, wow.
And it was a great experience, but I saw the dark side of red carpet, you know, world. And people, you know, they want to talk to who's in, who's hot, who's now. And there's even a list of like, her, yes, definitely, her, maybe, pass. The way your character in the film was like giving her a second of attention, and then saying the line, how far back were you nominated? I'm not sure I can remember back that far. And then she's kind of stunned, and then the next girl comes up who's like the next it girl. That happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
You know, in a way, you were being a little bit polite to give Sally that moment. I'm not saying your character.
Yeah, I wasn't me. I acted. I really acted. Yes.
But thank you, NewFilmmakers LA, for that.
But just because I think that's a really important fact as well, is that, you know, I think, you know, she, like many people, you know, in that time, gave us so much in cinema through her acting, through her presence, through people like you looking up to her. And we need to owe respect for all of the generations that have brought us to where we are today in cinema. And I think that was the hardest, most sentimental, most difficult part of the journey of watching Sallywood, is that you felt so much for her. You know, we really got a chance to see her.
She's a survivor.
Yes.
I mean, and it's sad to say, but, you know, as actors move into their 80s and 90s or whatever, we lose them.
Yeah.
You know, and we just lost David Lynch and Joan Plowright, and just in 1 week, and it seems like we lose them all the time, and it's and they leave a great legacy.
They do.
That will last forever. Movies that we will always love, and everything they brought to our lives, but she's still with us.
Yeah, she is.
And she was the first nude actress on the American stage. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know
in
that.
the mid-'60s, in an off-Broadway play, fully nude on stage. So I guess the Playboy spread years later was no surprise.
Yeah.
Here I am again. Anyway.
How did she feel, like, after everything, after the whole journey you've been on with her? How did she feel seeing the film, looking back
She
on it?
loves it.
Yeah.
She said last night, live on stage, this is her favorite film since Anna, which was the
That's
film
the
she
biggest
was,
compliment.
I know, with the film that she was Oscar nominated for and won the Golden Globe. You know, I was just saying to my friend who's my cinematographer on Sallywood, Matthias, it's just really, really tough being an actor. I mean, there's no way around it. Because you can be the hottest guy, the hottest thing from the hottest show, and then, you know, 20 or 30 years later, you're kind of wondering, what is that person doing now? And it happens all the time.
Yeah, it really
happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember running into one of my favorite actresses, Ileana Douglas, at
Oh,
Ralph's
yes.
when I first moved to LA. She was smoking a cigarette in the parking lot, and I went up to her and I said, I'm such a big fan of you on 6 Feet Under, and all these films you've done, To Die For, and all these films. I said, what are you doing now? And she looked at me and she was like, just like everyone else, I'm in the same boat as you, trying to find the next gig. And I was like, wow. Because I thought of her as this.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, we are all in the same boat.
Yeah, and you captured that really, really well in the film.
Thank you.
With your character,
Mm-hmm.
with the most coolest little craziest British roommate possible, and all of his ensemble as well. Like, I mean,
And I really did have a roommate named Tom.
You did?
And that was all true.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you went for a lot. You survived too with this whole,
yes,
and-
yeah.
But you
I
thrived.
think I lived in a bubble in a way
Yeah.
because I was so naive and so wide-eyed and so
Yeah.
excited about being out here,
Yeah.
which is common.
Yeah,
when
no,
you come out here.
absolutely.
And so you say yes to a lot of things and dive into a lot of things that seem lunatic.
Yeah.
But it's very healthy actually because you're going to grow from it.
Yeah.
I like the friendship in the film.
Oh, it's
between these two very
gorgeous.
different generations.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and in fact, we need to see more of those dynamics because I think friendships, relationships come of all ages, and there's so much we can learn from each other. At different periods of our lives, different experiences, and your friendship with Sally in real life is amazing and so wonderful, and I'm glad that you found each other because look what you did.
Thank you.
This honestly, this is already a film that I want to just cozy up to and go back to, and I'm feeling happy, sad, nostalgic, everything. You paid a really great ode to LA, to cinema, to Hollywood, to Sally Kirkland, to people like Sally Kirkland as well that have experienced similar things. So just thank you for making it. But where are you taking us next?
I mean, our goal right now is to finish up with distribution.
Yes.
And
Yes.
maybe by the time people see this interview, Sally will be available on streaming
Yes.
or in cinemas. You give birth to a baby.
You do.
And it is like a living thing.
Yeah.
It's a baby, and you want the baby to have a good education.
Yeah.
And really good diapers.
Yes.
And so I feel like people are loving my baby. It's a
Yeah.
really nice feeling.
Yeah.
And I want to then have the next baby.
Yeah.
Although you don't
Yeah.
want to have too close because
No.
I want to make sure this gets distribution
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
But I have written other scripts
Yeah.
which have done really well in the screenwriting competitions.
Great.
I always enter them into the screenwriting to see what happens and to get coverage and get notes, get feedback. You want to make your script the best it can be.
Yeah.
And I'm purely interested in comedy as a genre.
You're brilliant at it. Please keep making
I
comedy.
love that.
We need to laugh.
We need to laugh.
People came last night at the festival.
We
were like,
actually need to laugh.
We need to laugh.
It has nothing to do with we're in a dark time
No,
or
no.
whoever's president.
No.
I just think as human beings we
Yeah.
need to laugh.
Yeah, I came up feeling so good after watching the film, and that's not being biased because I had a little hairline influence, but I really did enjoy watching your film, and I enjoyed.
I
what you
loved hearing
created.
the laughter in the
Isn't it
cinema.
brilliant? And you're like, this is why I did it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're looking forward to your next film, baby.
Thank you.
New Filmmakers will host your next baby shower.
Oh,
of your next film, baby.
Thank you.
But thank you so very much for bringing
Danny,
Sally
thank
with
you.
us.
Wow, you're welcome.
Seriously, and thank you to all of your cast and your crew and everybody that brought it together. Because,
I love them all.
Yeah, they love you too. So
Thank
you're
you.
lucky. But thank you very much. Thank you very
you.
much. That we appreciate you.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you, New Filmmakers LA.
Thank you, Xaque, everybody, Sally Wood. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Sally.
Yes.